We can buy wherever.
Hey guys, this is Trent Pride, the Pride of Agland, coming at y'all with my next installment of Tuesday's Tips with Trent, or Triple T. Today I got Mr. Bret Richards, my good buddy of Coleman and Patterson. He's a licensed auctioneer, He's a licensed real estate auctioneer in 20 states?
20 states.
20 states.
20
so
states.
What he's going to talk to us about, guys, is just some...
Texas, because this is like a whole other country.
Okay, it is a country. I like that too. So Bret's going to give us some little 101 tips on real estate auctions, just kind of give you guys a little idea of what goes on. So Bret, take it away.
So what's our target market? Are we talking to realtors? Are we talking to other just buyers, home buyers?
Well, we're talking about to a little bit of each.
Okay.
So anybody that's going to watch my Facebook page, so buyers, agents, so on and so forth.
Well, the biggest misconception about real estate auctions is just understanding the terms and conditions. The only thing that's different in a real estate auction transaction that's different from a regular traditional sale is how you arrive at the price. So typically, once you have that, if you understand coming into a real estate auction, what the terms and conditions are, what the down payment's going to be, whether that's an absolute versus reserve, once you get to the actual price established at auction, from that moment on, it's just a regular, goes to the title company, gets closed, brokers get paid usually, depending on what type of auction it is, that you can bring buyers and brokers are protected. And from a buyer standpoint, it's a good way to buy, and from a seller standpoint, it's a good way to sell. Auctions, they create urgency for a seller, they create a date certain sale, they create a sale that they can control the terms and conditions, whereas we get into a situation of this particular financing versus that. It basically says, bring all the offers to me, let's get a true market value at the auction. And from a buyer's standpoint, it presents a wonderful opportunity to know exactly what you get. We're in a hot market in Bryan College Station, so this time of year as we come into the spring, there's a lot of houses that are in a highest and best situation, and you don't know what you're bidding against. And you may give a substantial amount more, but you don't know what you have to give, but you're also trying to protect your money a little bit. With an auction, it's transparent, it's open, you know exactly what you have to bid.
So as a buyer, if I'm a buyer and I come in and I bid highest bid on that home, I know I get that home. My real estate agent gets paid, and you guys take care of the paperwork, from what I understand, on y'all side for the most part.
For the most part, the auction company works with both buyers and sellers and real estate agents, and you touched on something there. You get the house. Now, you do need to know terms of the auction are a little bit different. So is it a reserve auction? Is it an absolute auction? Absolute means it sells regardless of bid price, no back taxes, no liens, anything. And then a reserve auction, the seller does have the right to accept, to counter, or reject. But for the most part, my job as an auctioneer is to qualify my seller, qualify my property as a desirable property, whether it's a unique one, and make sure that the seller has the motivation to take that price at auction, which, it may be less than what it was previously listed at. It may be more, depending on how desirable that is in the time of year. So there's a lot of factors with an auction. An auction is not right for every property. That's what I talk with a lot of realtors. Like, auctioneers just want to do everything at auction, and that's not the case. We want to make sure that each situation produces an opportunity for success. So we got to have the right seller, we got to have the right buyers. That's with marketing. Usually an auction marketing program is much more extensive than just placing a sign in MLS. It's direct marketing. So it's a wonderful opportunity if the property's right, if the seller's right, if the situation's right, and that's what we do. We consult.
And also, and what Bret's talking about, guys, is he's not only a real estate auctioneer, he's also a licensed real estate broker in the state of Texas and 20 others, like you mentioned. So he's wanting to protect our values because it pertains to him and his team, because they have a team at Coleman and Patterson that they want to make sure they have comps. They work with builders. They want to make sure there's comps. This is just a different piece of marketing. And one other misconception that a lot of people don't understand, they think, well, if I'm going to go buy at an auction, I got to have $200,000 cash on me. That's not how it works, guys. They give 45 days to get your loan closed. On particular auctions, you have to read the specifics. But you get the ability to have your financing. So, and that's kind of segues us into what we're doing with the auction house with Mr. Paul Manley of Manley Homes. We're going to be auctioning a home off April 12th, right?
April 12th.
So it's a new build home. If any of you guys have been following us on the auction house, Mr. Manley's Facebook page, Manley Homes, go to their Facebook page. You can look at the auction house. We've got several different sponsors that are throwing in some tidbits here and there. Grant Carrabba with help me out.
Austin's
Colony. So they're in to help us out. We got Mr. Tim Bailey of Bailey Plumbing. So they're going to be out there, going to give us a little bit of tidbits here and there as well. So and several other folks out there. So something to keep in mind on if you get a chance. Go to Manley Homes, Facebook page, take a look at the auction house. Kind of gives you an idea of this home that we're going to be auctioning off. It's in the new build process and be finished up prior to April 12th. So that'll be something to get an idea of what goes on from the right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So.
Absolutely. There's always auctions. There's different type of auctions. There's different type of real estate auctions. And with this one, we want it to be as easy and open as possible. So, realtors are getting a full 3% for bringing a buyer. It's going to have a home warranty that comes right with it. And it's just going to be a fun day on April 12th. And auctions are really good if you use them correctly. And certainly, I'm happy to talk with anybody about that. You can give us a call at Coleman or Patterson, and we can talk about your auction or brokerage needs.
Cool. Well, Bret, appreciate your time, sir. Guys, we'll catch y'all later. Tuesday Tips with Trent. Thank y'all very much.